What is going on, guys? It is Splurge, sleepy coach of the Bracknell Beedrills, bringing you the draft analysis for BBL Season 2. So, the things you need to know, I am, in fact, somehow, still don't know how, the third admin for the Wi-Fi division and admin in general for the Discord for BBL. This is an Ubers League with a points draft. We've been quietly refining the tier list and how everything is draftable between Season 1 and Season 2. I came on board kind of playoffs of Season 1. I was helping Aaron prep, but actually joined the server late Season 1 in between Season 1 and Season 2. There's, in my opinion, there's still a couple of issues with the tier list, but it's far better than Season 1. So there are a couple of sore thumbs, but nothing too bad now. So going into the draft, I was hopeful that I might actually get a decent draft position for once. I managed to have pulled stupendously poor draft positions in just about every draft I've done since the summer of 2018, bar one, I think, where I actually started third. And actually, this is no different. I managed to pull 12th out of 16 again, which definitely limited how I wanted to go about this draft, and actually it's probably one of the more competitive leagues that I'm going to be playing in. So going into round one, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to pick up. I was in two minds about a couple of different mons. I really wanted to get Magina because actually it's underrated and it's been underpriced for where it is in the points tiers. I think it was only 18 points. Unfortunately, Magina went to another coach who is now finding out just how fun it is to use in multiple different leagues, I believe. And so I still wanted to get kind of a decent steel type round one because with how Ubers works, you have more psychic types and more fairy types and more dragons all generally running around the place who are really powerful. And so I this was suggested by one of my friends who helped me prep and draft and stuff. And so I've never really used it in any Ubers context for format. But so I picked up Soldier Leo. Steel Psychic. This mon is... I don't know how to feel about it, I'll be honest. Let me quickly pull up its stats. We've now played week 1, and so I understand what it does properly now. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just a really solid mon. It's got base 137 HP, which is huge, with base 137 attack, 107 defense, 113 special attack, 89 SPDF, and 97 speed. Oh boy! Yeah, you can tell that I'm tired. With full metal body, which is effectively clear body. But so Soldier Leo has an insane amount of coverage when you start to look into it. I mean, it's got standard coverage. Let's not say insane just yet. So it also has a couple of really nice utility options. So it's got, you can run screens on it. You have Calm Mind. You have Swords Dance. You have Raw, Toxic, Thunder Wave, Substitute, everybody gets Substitute. And a couple of other interesting options, which I probably won't go into just yet because I have a couple of ideas still set to do, and I want to bring them, and I don't want to show them off just yet. Yeah, so round 1, picked up Social Layout. It's a decent pick. It leaves the rest of my draft quite open to other ideas, and it's very flexible. And going into round 2, I wanted something which could really threaten its counters and its walls. So, fire types, ground types, other steel types, maybe not ground types to the same extent, but so I picked up Landorus Incarnate. And this one I have wanted to use for the longest time, just haven't got round to using it. It is an absolute monster. You can stick a life orb on it, and it takes people ages to work out that you've actually brought life orb, or whether or not it's a choice item because of how sheer force works. Its stats, I feel like everybody knows by now. It's got a handy base 101 speed, so that you're literally just creeping base 100 mons every day of the week. And then, I mean, it's a Landorus, so it gets Stealth Rocks. It has as much setup as you'd ever need. It has Defog, has Calm Mind, Bulk Up. It's just got a little bit of everything, really, and it's the reason why Lando T is one of the heads of OU, and it's one of the best mods in the format, and it's why Landorus Incarnate is banned. I feel like I'm going to be really quiet. This is going to be fun to edit. Going into round 3, quite a lot went because, of course, I mean, with where I am in the draft, it's really not fun. So, I mean, there was a solid 20 picks between Landorus and round 3. And so, a lot of fairies went round 3, I believe. And so, I really wanted to just get mine in. I had a couple of mons in mind. And actually, I really wanted to get not so much a set kind of like 6 or 7 absolutely busted mons, but kind of maybe towards like 8 mons of just general solid quality. And so I picked up Sylveon round 3. This thing is one of the mons which is on my list of I'd prefer to abuse it than have to deal with it. It is one of the just most annoying one-trick ponies around, and whenever I seem to face it, I just can't kill it. I mean, this has access to screens as well. It's a Wish Passer and a Cleric, I believe. Yeah, Cleric as well. It's got access to Calm Mind. Its most annoying set is Calm Mind, Wish, Bulky, Thing. Yeah, I mean, its potency is reduced in Uber's league, I guess, but it's still something which you really can't sleep on too much, because all it needs is one Calm Mind, and it kind of like to just be able to elongate its life out there on the field, and then you're in a whole heap of trouble. But yeah, round 4, I actually got kind of like the single mon that I really wanted in this draft, and that was Mega Gyarados, which I think is criminally underrated for Uber's drafts in general. Nobody really ever focuses too hard on offensive water types. They usually look towards the more defensive ones, and actually with the introduction of a lot more psychic types, I can speak today. Mega Gyarados kind of comes into its own as a really, really potent setup sweeper in the format, with the monstrous base 155 attack stat, with a solid set of stabs and some really kind of useful coverage. Gyarados can cause a lot of issues. It also has access to Taunt, which is kind of nice. So you're always giving. Oh my word! This is going to be an edit and a half, or I just leave it all my yawning. But yeah, Mega Gyarados is something which really puts your opponent into an issue of whether or not I've brought sub or not, or whether it's just straight Dragon Dance. I feel as if parts of my draft really force everybody to bring at least one phaser each week, because they just can't afford to let some of my mons stick around on the field for too long at any one time. But yeah, no, I mean, Mega Gyarados round 4 I was really happy with. The interesting thing was, at this point, I kind of didn't know how to round out my draft properly. At this point, my speed was in an interesting state of affairs, in the fact that I had 4 mons between it. I think it's like, or at least 3 mons between like base 100 and base 80, give or take, with another mon at base 60, which is less than ideal. And actually, I just saw another mon which I feel like is going to come in handy as something which should never be brought, but will be brought anyway, and will actually put in some sort of work. And that is a Alolan Golem. This thing, I feel like it should get more love than it gets, and it's something which has an opportunity now, hopefully, to really be put to good use in some similar ways as Galospod has been on my PMC draft. The interesting thing here is that it has 3 abilities which are all very useful for what it wants to do. And so with that, it gets a really nice attack stat and a nice defense stat. And then to complement it, it just has all of the right coverage and physical attacking moves. It's unlikely to ever be brought special because, I mean, base 55 special attack is nothing to be yelling about. It has access to Autotomize. I was about to say Sword Stance, but it doesn't have Sword Stance, so we can ignore that. Okay, it doesn't have much setup. This may have been a mistake, but I'm still gonna... Oh no, it's fine. It has a move called Steamroller. I'm bringing this mon and I'm using Steamroller. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid mon, and I feel like Magnet Pool is gonna pay its way for this season. Going into round 6, I really wanted some more speed in my draft. I need to make sure that I'm actually still doing these in order. Oh no, okay, so Alolan Golem was round 6, not round 5. That was my mistake. Round 5 was Salazzle, because I wanted some speed on my draft. Base 117, it does the job there. Yeah, sorry, had to quickly disappear for a sec. So Corrosion is a really interesting ability. I mean, Oblivious is unlikely to be brought, and I'm not sure if it's even released yet. So Corrosion means that I can toxic anybody effectively. It's got some nice tech. Unfortunately, it's on the physical side and not the special side. It still gets access to kind of dragon coverage, and that's about it. But so it's quite potent. It's a nasty plot sweeper. It also has access to Will-O-Wisp and Toxic, Taunt, and Encore as well. So this will be brought a couple of times. I feel it's going to be good fun to use. So that was round 5. So then round 6 I got the Alolan Golem, and round 7 I felt like I needed a bit more speed, and I also needed some more hazards. That's the word. And so I picked up Excelgor. I've been wanting to use this for quite some time. Again, it's another one which I've really wanted to use, and it's looked kind of interesting. With base 145 speed and 100 special attack, this thing can do some work. But yeah, so the main reason that I really like the look of this, gets spikes and toxic spikes and toxic. And Encore for a base 145 speed, it all comes really in handy. It then also has access to Water Shuriken, which is an interesting little addition in its coverage. It's got Bug Buzz, Focus Blast, Signal Beam, Sludge Bomb, and Energy Ball, so it's got a decent amount of coverage. Admittedly, it's only those 5 moves that are coverage, so it's not the hardest thing to prep against, in that sense of trying to work out what your opponent's bringing. Its abilities are a unique set in Hydration, Sticky Hold, and Unburden. And I mean, having Unburden on this thing is interesting. Base 145 speed, and then you boost it again. Yeah. So then round 8, kind of at this point, going into round 7, I was trying to work out how to properly finish the draft. The things you need to understand is BBL is a draft 10 to 12 mons. You don't need to fill out the whole 12 or 11 or however many. And I came to the conclusion that actually I really wanted another Ubers on my draft, which meant that I was going to be picking up only 10 mons. And so, because of this, I was relatively confident that I could pick up the Ubers mon last, so you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. But so kind of Excelgor and then the next 2 and the Uber were all kind of thought about within the same thought process of finishing out the draft. So round 8, I decided to pick up Lurantis. This is a fun mon to use. Contrary with multiple different moves which can actually abuse the ability, unlike Superior. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Superior, but it can certainly cause headaches. It can hit both on the physical and the special side just as easily and still be as scary if you've brought both of them. With Leaf Storm and Superpower, it also gets Seed Bomb, Leech Life, Brick Break, Defog, Petal Blizzard, Poison Jab. It's got Swords Dance, although probably not bringing that if you think about it. Toxic as always. But yeah. Oh, yawn. Oh, double yawn. But yeah, it's also a cleric as it has aromatherapy. Its stats are nothing to go yelling about. It's only got base 105 attack, which is over base 100. But it'll do the job. I think this is going to cause a couple of issues for some teams. And it also kind of mitigates some other interesting niches which can be abused within some drafts. So then we get into round 9, and I felt like I needed a little bit more removal and just a little bit more speed. And so that came in the form of Bracknell. It also takes some of the weight from my 2 4 times weak to ground type mons. This thing is one of 2 mons now that has both defog and rapid spin, and so I get all the choices. Bracknell is quite a nice one to have. It has priority in Ice Shard, but it also then gets Freeze Dry and Ice Beam. It definitely prefers being brought on the special side because attack stats 50. So Ice Shard is kind of like it's not really something worth yelling about. But so it gets a lot of interesting physical coverage. Its special coverage, there is none. It also gets screens again, and kind of like standard stuff. It also gets explosion if I want to do that, and Aurora Veil if I ever want to bring like a hail manual Aurora Veil, or I'm facing Ninetales, something like that. Yeah, and then so finally, my final mon is Giratina, the normal one, not Origin. I can't remember what its original form is called. It's not Confined because that's Hooper. It's not Incarnate or Therian because that's the Genies. But yeah, standard Giratina without the Greasy Sorb. I mean, we could probably still. I don't know whether you can still have Greasy Sorb on it and it doesn't turn into Giratina Origin. That's something worth checking out. But yeah, so this thing is an absolute monster. The only stat that it has below base 100 is its speed, which is base 90. It has base 150 HP, base 120 defense, and base 120 SPDF. Just why? Like this thing is insane, and it's got a solid set of utility. The only thing it's missing is recovery. I mean, even then it has Pain Split, but that's going to do nothing because you base 150. Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to round out my Steel Psychic Fairy core. I also wanted a Spin Blocker and another Defogger because actually for TBL and for PMC I really kind of dropped the ball of my removal. I've probably done it to death on this draft because I now have 4 separate mons, one with both sets of removal. So yeah, I mean, pair this with Excalibur and stick a Scarf on it and just click Hex. That would be a bit interesting. I might do that. It's got a Magic Coat, Raw, kind of all of the status stuff minus like a Sport. It has Shadow Sneak, and this time it can be yelled about because it's base 100 attack. Yeah, I mean, this is just a solid mon. I really like it. It's going to be one of my walls in a meta which really doesn't lend itself to trying to wall out mons. But I feel like my draft is going to do some way is going to go some way to disproving that and really showing what a patient battler can do, especially when I'm really not patient. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, so that is my season 2 BBL draft. I'm quite happy with how it came out in the end, despite some of the snipes that occurred. I can't remember all of them. All I can remember is Magana because it still hurts. But yeah, week 1 we play Austin of the Lawrence Talonflames. Second game in a couple of weeks. I can tell you now, it's a really good game. And I believe his team is some form of sand plus some really scary stuff, if I remember correctly. I will be recording it for next week, I believe, which is week 1 upload. Yeah, I remember your draft now. He had Zekrom, Ash Greninja, Mega Diancie, plus sand and webs. But yeah, so I hope you all have a fantastic week. Make sure to be sure to come check out the Discord. We're all friendly. We'll all say hi and talk to you about our drafts because they'll be now out in the open come the end of today. Be sure to check out all of the other coaches' draft analysis. We have some really, really, really strong drafts and some really competitive battlers this season. Not that we didn't last season, just I feel as if the quality of the player will have increased an amount for some of the changes that have come. But yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic time. Be sure to check it all out, and I'll see you guys next week for BBL Season 1. Week 1 even. I am definitely awake.